Remember how people hated Rian Johnson? Well, not everybody, because there's some people that love this movie, but there's a lot of people that hated Rian Johnson because of The Last Jedi. Times have changed. And welcome to my safe haven, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining me and clicking on another video here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking me out, hey, how's it going? My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek, and I always say the things I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the Force. I like to talk superheroes. I like to talk action movies. I like to talk horror movies. I like to talk sci-fi, fantasy, animation. I like to talk comic books, video games, and of course I like to talk about black representation and queer representation. So if that's something that you are interested in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, become a regular here on the channel, check out the other videos on my channel, watch this video to the end. Hopefully I'm interested enough, like this video for the algorithm and getting this video and my channel out there for other people to see it and get it recommended. Watch, like, share, comment, interact for the all gay rhythm. So we are here to talk about the sequel to the surprise hit of Knives Out, directed by Rian Johnson, and this one is called Glass Onion. But this time, I think unlike the first one, because I don't think Netflix owned the first Knives Out, but Netflix now owns Glass Onion. They bought the rights, and so they did put it in theaters for a little bit, but it's mostly going to be distributed on Netflix. I believe it comes out on December 23rd on Netflix, but I got to see it maybe like 2 weeks ago, I think. So thank you, Netflix, for the early screener. But I wanted to wait till it got closer to the date rhyme before I released my non-spoiler review for the movie. But anyway, the synopsis for Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery is: tech billionaire Miles Braun invites his friends for a getaway on his private Greek island. When someone turns up dead, Detective Benoit Blanc is put on the case. And so with this being a sequel to the Knives Out movie, and if you haven't checked out my review for the first Knives Out movie, you can click the link up here. But I really did enjoy the first Knives Out movie. Like, I enjoyed it a lot. It was one of my favorite movies of the year. If you want to know more, again, if you want to know more of my thoughts about it, you can click the link and watch that and check that out if you haven't already. But the question is, does this sequel live up to the original? Or the biggest question I know a lot of people will be asking, is this movie better than the first Knives Out? Is it on par with the first Knives Out? Like, how does this compare with the first Knives Out movie? And honestly, to jump into it, I feel like after seeing this movie, it will almost be an unfair comparison to try to compare this movie and the first Knives Out movie, because even though they are sequels and almost in some ways direct sequels, because you have the character of Detective Benoit Blanc showing up in both movies, so it does correspond and correlate in that aspect. I feel like it's an unfair comparison in the sense of, like, in many ways, I feel like this movie is almost a completely different movie than the first Knives Out movie, to the point, not only do you have a completely different cast in this movie, you have Edward Norton, you have Catherine Hahn, you have Jessica Henwick, you have Janelle Monáe, you have Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson, and many others. The only person from the first movie that transferred over was Detective Blanc, played by Daniel Craig. So you have a completely different cast, you have a completely different murder mystery happening, a completely different location, and not only just that, but I feel like this movie is very different in its tone compared to the first movie. Whereas, yes, because it says it in the title, like, this movie is a murder mystery. It is a Knives Out murder mystery. But I feel like the thing about this movie, Glass Onion, where, like, Knives Out was a murder mystery, but it was like serious. It was a serious murder mystery. Like, a person's life was at stake. Like, if she was convicted of that murder, she'd went to jail, possibly got deported, etc., etc. Like, there was some serious heavy stakes with regards to this movie, but, like, I feel like, or with regards to Knives Out, but I feel like with Glass Onion, even though there was a murder and it was a murder mystery, I feel like it was way more lighthearted in tone compared to the first one. Whereas the first movie was like a murder mystery, this one is like a murder mystery. And in many ways, like, it was so lighthearted in tone and different from the first one. Like, there was a moment where, like, in a part of the movie, a long part of the movie, where they do like a almost anime-esque flashback sequence that was, like, very long, but it was still very necessary and it added a lot to the story. But I feel like that just helped push the fact that it was more lighthearted in tone compared to the first one. Now, with all of that out of the way, I absolutely love this movie. I thought this movie was incredible and I had a lot of fun with this movie despite the, not drastic, but the shift in tone compared to the first one. And I actually can't wait to go back and watch it again when it debuts and premieres on Netflix, because I went to go see it with a friend of mine and there were certain things that he said that he noticed and saw that I didn't see. And so he was like, oh, I think I know what's happening. Oh, wait, I caught this. Oh, I missed this part, but I can see. So it's like, now when you know the story and when you know the mystery, like almost kind of like how Get Out was, where it's like, once you know the story of Get Out and you go back and rewatch it, you're like, oh, I can see this or how this makes sense. So yeah, so the movie was just fun overall. Like I really enjoyed it. So with this movie, again, I mentioned Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe. Like you have the main character, I would say, out of all these characters is the character of Janelle Monáe. And that's the thing I really enjoy about these Knives Out movies in general is, and the thing that makes it very different from a lot of murder mysteries is in the sense of like you took Rian Johnson, who created this particular murder mystery genre. And I'm not saying, because I don't want people to misconstrue my words saying he created murder mysteries. No, I'm saying he created this particular movie in this genre. But the thing that makes it different is the leads being people that you don't normally see as the leads in murder mysteries or these types of genres of film, where like the first one was Ana de Armas, Hispanic woman, Latina woman, but then you have in this movie Janelle Monáe, a black woman. And not even just the fact that they are diverse characters or diverse women, they're women on top of that. Now with that said, that doesn't necessarily mean because you got women and women that are Spanish and then black, that automatically makes it good. It's just nice to see that different type of narrative told in a genre film. But of course, the most important thing with regards to a murder mystery and the thing that makes or breaks a murder mystery is the murder mystery element. Like if you're not intrigued by the mystery, then the movie will fall flat on its face. And I was very much interested in the story around who done it, basically, and trying to figure out who did. And I thought I knew, and I was like, oh, it's this person, and I was completely wrong. And the thing about this movie that is so fun is Rian Johnson's writing. It is so clever with regards to this movie, and then even with the way the movie is shot and how certain things get called back and certain small things that you think don't matter, small insignificant things that end up being huge things, and just the circle, almost in a musical type of way where certain beats from a musical come back towards the end. And it felt very musical in that way with regards to this movie. And in many ways, I feel like it's hard to talk about this movie because it's a mystery and I can't talk about the mystery or give specific because I don't want to give anything away, because obviously the whole point and the whole plot of this movie is who done it. So I don't want to say anything about the story accidentally leading somebody on about who particularly is the murderer or murderers. So like, yeah, I'm like tiptoeing. But regardless, like I said, I really enjoyed this movie. And I know I did say like it wouldn't be fair to compare or say which movie was better than the other, but I will contradict myself and I'll say like, objectively speaking though, even though I really enjoyed this movie and I had a great time watching this movie and I would totally watch this movie again, I will say objectively speaking, I enjoyed the first Knives Out movie better, only because like, and not to say that the ensemble and the cast of actors in this movie were bad. There was nobody in this movie that was bad. I mean, Dave Bautista is not the best actor, but he did what he had to do regarding this movie. There was nothing dreadfully awful about his performance, but I will say he was the weakest of the actors, but there was nothing bad about his performance. But you think about the first movie, you have Daniel Craig, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Chris Evans, Lakeith Stanfield, Toni Collette, etc. Like, I just enjoy those cast of actors more. And I also feel like the story dynamic regarding the connection between those characters, I enjoy more. And also in the fact that the tone of the movie was much more serious. Like, and this is something I would say is a small criticism regarding Glass Onion, but we don't, like, when you think about the first Knives Out movie, like, it starts, you get right into the murder mystery. But with Glass Onion, like, despite being interested in the story, at the same time, I still found myself looking at the watch because the actual murder mystery doesn't start until a good hour or so into the movie. So I'm like, how long is this movie? Like, we haven't even gotten to the murder. Like, what is happening? But I was still interested, but I was still just like, can we start the murder? But with that said, like, once everything starts, like, the movie really flies at that point. Not to say it wasn't flying before that, but it was more so gliding. But once the murder starts, it starts soaring. And I still, like I said, I really enjoyed this movie overall, and I would totally recommend give it a watch on Netflix. And I haven't really thought about it, but Glass Onion could definitely be in the running of one of my favorite movies of the year. I still got to think about it and put everything in a list, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun with this movie. And also, shout out to Janelle Monáe. Like, her performance and the character that she played in this movie, like, her acting is incredible, and she definitely deserves more credit and deserves more roles as a legit and a serious actress. But with that said, the question is, are you guys excited about Glass Onion? When you see Glass Onion, let me know your thoughts about the movie in the comment section below. And also, which one did you perhaps like more? Did you like Knives Out more? Did you like Glass Onion more? Do you kind of agree with me where you like, yeah, it is basically two different movies. And yeah, if you haven't seen the first Knives Out movie, you don't really need to see the first Knives Out movie to understand and completely get where this movie is going. Because like I said, it's two different movies. But anyway, let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you can, hit that thumbs up button and like this video to really help out with the channel. If this is one of your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. And if you like what you see, please subscribe for more and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. And tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.